What's up, everybody, and welcome to Let's Chat here on /Twitch. Yes, the official Twitch channel. We do, in fact, broadcast. I saw some folks shout that out like, wait a second, Twitch broadcasts? We do. Welcome. I am John, or I also go by Jay or Kawaii Guy, all across the internet. Welcome in. I am the director of community here at Twitch, and today we're going to be having a great conversation with an incredible creator, gamer, streamer, and leader of our Black Guild as part of our Twitch Unity Guilds. But before we welcome to the stage, I want to see all the love, all the hype in chat. I've been seeing some amazing emotes posted here. I want to see y'all post this. DJ Sweet Tooth, how you doing? Let me see your dance emotes. If you got those or you got the Dino dance emote, I know that's Zach's favorite when we do streams here on Twitch. But welcome in, everybody. There we go. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, let's welcome to the stage as well, the one and only K-Dot the God. What is up, K-Dot?
You know what? I like that intro. I might have to take that. I like that.
There we go.
I never had an intro like that.
Really? Well, I'm glad that this could be the first, but hopefully it's not the last, because you have done so many incredible things across our space, but I don't want to speak on your behalf. I want you to tell the audience about like who you are, what you're about. I saw some people thinking this was Kendrick stepping to the stage. I want to know.
Yeah, I always get that. I know they're a little disappointed, like, yeah, it's not Kendrick. Yeah, my bad. But it is a K-Dot. It's a good one. It ain't a bad one.
It's a good one. It's a good one. But tell us all about yourself, your history. How'd you end up in this broadcasting sphere?
Well, it's actually kind of weird, because growing up, I did not like playing video games at all or social media. But my brother did. My brother loved playing RPGs. He loved playing Kingdom Hearts, Final Fantasy. So I would always watch him because I was the youngest. So at one point, in college, my friend was like, hey, you can get paid playing a game. Like, how? I'm broke in college. I have 2 jobs. I have debt already. So how can I do it by having fun? He was like, look up Twitch. So I looked up Twitch. And by that time, I think Myth was streaming. Daquan was streaming. Like, it was Fortnite booming. So it had to be around 2018, 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And I figured, I'm like, if people that are like me can do it on Fortnite, maybe I can do it too. So I spent hours playing Fortnite, like after class, before class, and just trying to figure out, a way to do it. But little did I know that you actually had to, hit requirements to start making like a check on Twitch. Mm-hmm. And so while I was working on that, I started having fun. And I realized, like, all right, maybe I don't really need to, get paid on here. I'm just having fun. It's an outlet. I was depressed. I was stressed out. I was going through things. So it was fun, just getting on stream and talking to random people about things that I liked. The next thing you know, a game called Naruto the Boruto Shinobi Striker came out. Shouts out to Bandai.
Oh, that's a great one.
That game changed my life on Twitch. After that, I started streaming that heavily. I got into clans. I got into tournaments. I think I got partnered because of that, actually, as well, because I was doing so many different things. But I really did not have a path or a idea that I was going to be streaming or creating content, because I didn't like it growing up. I was outside playing basketball, playing hide and go seek, manhunt, just being a kid. I think I was the last generation where we was really outside. Nowadays, everybody got iPads and phones and everything. But I think that's how I started. Yeah.
It's wild to think that that game like popped for you, because like that is such a niche title. Now, granted, I see I think I see Naruto in the background there out of focus. I think I see some My Hero Academia stuff back there.
Yeah.
Like, you spend a lot of the time, playing outside, and I agree with you. I was just with my nephews, and all they wanted to do was play PlayStation, and they just wanted to be on their iPads and all that. Is that when you got hooked into anime as well, or was like anime like a kind of a side thing that you would watch when you were younger too?
So what's funny is I watched anime growing up, but I didn't know it was anime. So I would watch like Fooly Cooly and Yuyasha, and I would wake up in the middle of the night hearing the outro. Naruto, of course. I'm trying to think what else. Yu-Gi-Oh, Digimon, Pokemon. So I would watch those. Didn't know it was anime until I got older, into like high school, maybe like junior, senior year. Everybody was talking about anime, because I was so late to so many different trains. I can remember my friend telling me, hey, go watch Attack on Titan. Put the first episode on, I seen somebody huge and naked eating somebody. I was like, no.
You're like, this is not it. This is not for me.
I'm like, this is not it. Like, so I was still a baby anime watcher. So yeah, it wasn't really until maybe high school where I was like, yeah, we're watching anime, because growing up, elementary, middle school, people made fun of you for watching anime. I had it easy because I played, play sports, basketball, baseball, football. I was smart in class. I look good too, so it was easy. I could talk about so many different things and do so many different things where people wouldn't judge me. So I had a little easier route than other folks did.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting, like, especially having that crossover potential of like, yeah, you
Mm-hmm.
were into the sports, but you also enjoyed watching these things. It definitely makes it easier, like getting in, I guess, like the cool kid crowd, right? Where you're just like,
Yeah,
oh yeah,
literally.
no, I can kind of balance the two, but I can also talk about these
Yeah.
things. It was funny actually seeing
Uh-huh.
Battle Knight was like, they were into an MMO, and then a friend told them about Sword Art Online, which is like the whole concept of that is a
Yep.
kid gets stuck in an MMO. And now they
Uh-huh.
got hooked into anime. And so there's a lot of these like crossover things. There's also great basketball anime, hockey anime, you name it. There's a lot of great
Mm-hmm.
crossovers there. And so you kind of have to find like those pockets of like, oh no, this rings true for like what I'm interested in, who the people I, hang out with are interested in. And what makes me
Yeah.
happy is like on Twitch, those crossovers occur every single day, where it's just like you're
Every
seeking out
day.
those community folks who like have a similar upbringing or are also into the things you're into. And now my gut is, because you found your success off of a game like Naruto,
Mm-hmm.
that you have those individuals who also share that of just like, oh, you're gonna dive in on this. Like, I know there's was it the Dragon Ball game that just came out recently too? Did you
Mm-hmm.
dive in on that
Arc
too?
Zero. Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
hosted a whole tournament for the Black Guild. Yeah.
Oh
We
yeah.
was we was
Talk
on the
about
front
that.
page of Twitch for hours.
So what happened with that tournament? Talk a little bit about what was happening with that.
So basically it was my whole idea that I wanted to do was I wanted to show out for the Black community. I wanted to show out for the anime community, and I wanted to show out for a game in Akira Toriyama that showed so much love for everybody that was in that community. So I thought about it like, okay, let me use my position to put other people on the front page that was hosting. So we had Avatar Yaya, we had Kiki Baby, we had Yo Nug Game, we had so many different members from across the guilds. Uh just doing what they love to do, commentating, interviewing people. So I thought that was a great idea to, one, showcase a tournament, but also showcase the people. And I pitched it. Y'all loved it. It was on the front page. We honestly had, I think it was the biggest Sparking Zero stream that was hosted. I think a lot of the FGC been telling me that. I'm not really into it, but I had a few members up there tell me like, hey, that was huge. But it was fun. It was fun. It was long. It took a few months of planning. We cosplayed. It was fun, man. I don't know. It was a great time. It was a great time. Even though we were streaming for about like 8-9 hours. My PC messed up. My capture card messed up, but it was worth it though.
I
It
feel
was
like
worth
that's like
it.
that's the standard. It's actually funny. Like right before the broadcast started, we both were having our tech issues coming back from holiday. And
Yeah.
so my computer was having hiccups trying to get everything going. But that's like the streamer standard is like you could plan for months to do a great
Mm-hmm.
show and get everything set up, but something is going to happen. I think that's one of the beauties of
Always.
live, to be honest,
Yep.
is like you have to roll with the punches and you have to do what you can do to make it the best show possible. And I love that you brought together collectives across our guilds
Mm-hmm.
to have this tournament happen. And I'd love to see more of that happen. I guess let's talk a little bit about, now that you're a leader within the Black Guild, which is
Mm-hmm.
amazing, and it's amazing having you
Yeah.
represent and lift folks
Thank
up.
you.
I guess as you're thinking forward, like what are some of the things you hope to see content wise come from the guild spaces, like coming forward? Do you want to see more of those tournaments? Do you want to see more original formats, late night talk shows, you name it? What are you hoping to see come forward?
So my thing is I would love to see more shows, like yes, late night talk shows, but also gaming shows. So like Jeopardy's, Who Wants to Be Millionaires, Spin the Wheel, you name it. I love game shows. I think that's a great way to, one, get the chat involved, and on top of that, just bring a lot of engagement. But I love doing interviews too. So I think a late night talk show would be super dope. I got an idea in my head. I need to tell you. I think it's a play
Yes.
on words, and I think it's super fun. But I also love to do tournaments, not just anime tournaments, but I know people love Smash. I'm into TCGs now, so doing TCG tournaments, whether that's Yu-Gi-Oh, MTG, One Piece, whatever. I want to bring so many different things on Twitch that's not, that's not the usual. That's not what we normally see. And I think
Yeah.
having the guilds would be a great place to do it, because so many individuals who are, just well versed in so many different things, life, content, business, etc. You name it. And if you just bring the right minds together, we can make something really amazing happen.
I love that. And obviously in the chat, like what would you love to see more of on Twitch? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
we're shouting out TCG. I'm a
Yeah.
huge Pokemon player. I got, of course, one of my graded
Love
cards here. You want to throw down anytime when it comes to Pokemon TCG? I am there. Magic. I used to do a lot of stuff with Wizards. I'm all about it. Bringing more TCG to the forefront. I saw like some of the comments coming in here were actually talking about like people striving to get the partner or obviously establishing bases, and it can be a grind or can feel like a grind when it comes to the experience. It took me 6 years before I reached partner on Twitch, and it can feel grueling at times. You know, when you see other folks like get ahead or like popping off on the service, you're like, oh, what am I doing wrong, or what could I be doing better? And I guess like I'm curious your perspective on that, of like how long did it take you to get partner, or what was that beat of like, you know, getting to that next stage for you, or like how did that feel, like
So
going
I'm gonna
through the
be
flow?
honest.
Yeah.
I didn't have a traditional route, so some people might be mad about this one. But I didn't have to hit the 75 viewership to get partnered.
Mm,
When I was playing Naruto, like I said, I was hosting so many tournaments. I was doing so many events. Like I was doing Anime
mm,
Jeopardy. I was doing so many different things that was out of the box. I think then that I got an email in the middle of the night one time that said you're invited to the partner program. And I literally broke down and cried because in
wow.
my head I'm thinking partnership was, the end all be all, not knowing that you have more work to do. I immediately
Yeah.
thought like the Golden Gates was there, sponsorship was coming, Twitch was gonna see me now. Like I just thought my name was on the map. But it did show me that, no matter what you're doing, whether you put it in that work, you put in that community work, community engagement, you really put into the people that's in there for you, you never know what can happen. Because I wasn't
Mm,
focused on getting partnered at all. That wasn't the goal. The goal was just to have fun with the people that's in there support me every day. And then next thing you know, things start happening, the ball start rolling. I start getting calls from Twitch. I start, getting more confident and start making pictures of companies. So it wasn't really the check mark that did it. It was my community that, got me
mm.
started with everything.
So it's not just the shows you're putting out; it's a network that you're building,
Mhm.
really, at the core of
That
it.
too. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's
Yep.
thinking about like what is the type of community that you're curating and bringing into your space. Like I think of, the space that I've curated. It's like if you love anime or Japanese culture, or if you love cute
Mhm.
characters like from Sanrio and stuff. That's how the Kawaii Guy
Mhm.
brand got
Yeah.
established. It's like building that base for you. It was like, yeah, if you love, obviously, if you love sports content, yeah, I can hold my own and I can talk with you about like how to
Mhm.
play basketball. But if you want to dive in about Naruto, Dragon Ball, any of the shonen anime,
Yep.
like you're there for them. And so
Yep.
it's really first like thinking through like what is that base you're trying to build around, and it
Mhm.
really comes down to that core purpose of like what are you into and what do you stand for. When people talk about
Yep.
authenticity, they're really just talking about you speaking about what you love. And if what
Yeah,
you
what you
love
passionate
has a
about.
community base that's into it, they're going to start to come to you. I know a lot of people
Yep.
say, well, like Twitch needs to lift you up. And it's like, Twitch can only do so much. Twitch is like this kind of ethereal being that
Yeah,
exists and creates the
exactly.
tools for you to broadcast. But when it comes to you finding your pockets, you got to reach out to those outside communities. I guess to
Uh-huh.
that point, are there other like, do you use certain social media to reach or like connect with these communities? Do you read certain publications, or like, how do you connect
Um,
with people that have this same mind as you?
so now I'm gonna just use what I'm doing now. I picked up a new hobby, it's playing One Piece TCG. Yes, I
Yeah.
could just, stay here and play online, play the simulator, go on Twitch and find people, but I go outside. I'm going to the tournaments. I won my first tournament. Well, I didn't win, but I placed fifth and it was my first tournament, so I did pretty
Well,
good.
that's
I
technically a
joined, yeah.
win.
Yeah, that's a win. That's a win. I take it. I join Discords. I do tend to like, research certain things. So I might look up YouTube videos, I might look up articles. I kind of like when I get stuck on something, I kind of obsess over it a little bit and I,
Mm,
take notes, I research, I look up the people. I just figure out different things to make me enjoy it a little bit more, just make me a little bit more knowledgeable.
yeah. So it's really putting yourself out there physically, in addition to just
Yeah.
doing the shows
Yeah.
online. Because if you do
That's how
just
I
the
like to
shows
do it.
online and expect people to find you, how are they going to?
It's
Like,
not
how
really,
will they?
yeah.
It's not really a thing that really
Yeah.
ultimately works out. So for those of you who are maybe in the growth phase of your broadcasting career, think about, where do my collectives go? For myself, like especially building out my brand, Anime Expo
Mhm.
was the spot when I was living in Los Angeles. I was there every
Mm.
single year, and I was meeting people, making connections with fellow
Yep.
cosplayers or with people who were into, at the time I was also making this weird product. It was a drinkable mana potion that they sold in Hot Topic. And so it's just like, okay, who else is into MMOs? Who wants to chat about that with me? And so
No, that's lit.
and so it's making like all of those connections in real life, because ultimately at the end of every day and at the end of every broadcast, it's based on the relationships that we are starting to form. And yeah, look at this. Yeah, Unigeek, who's actually in the chat right now, we formed a collective called Ogiku at the time, which is a mixture of the words otaku and geek.
Oh,
And we formed that whole like group, and we had a bunch of broadcasters that came together, and that was our first channels
that's
on
neat.
Justin TV into Twitch. Was
Yeah.
because of that. And Unigeek is still crushing it on their side with bringing in some of our collective that we had formed. So
Wow.
sometimes it's a collective effort to really get that all flowing.
Mm-hmm.
And when you think of that, like, you know, the relationship that you're forming with the tournament circuit, like, are you seeing those same folks show up time and time again? Or like, are you seeing some of those folks cross over into the Black Guild now? Or like, how are you seeing that?
Yeah, actually, yes, because I'm more blunt with it. So I told the people, like, I need y'all in a Black Guild if y'all want to keep doing something amazing like this. And we have a plethora of people that's willing to jump into these things, but also the FGC is kind of intimidating to get into. So if you can start small, start somewhere where it's friendly, it's nice, it's supportive, like the Black Guild, I feel like you're gonna have a lot more people willing to turn out, because the FGC, let's be honest, can be toxic sometimes. It can be, especially if you got the wrong people doing the things that you want to do. So I told him, like, hey, I need y'all in the Black Guild, because y'all some amazing hosts, y'all some amazing TOs, commentators, etc. So let's use y'all talents for the people that's in here, especially, because it's fun. Why not?
That. When we're thinking about, like, I guess, standing out from the crowd, obviously on Twitch, there's lots of broadcasters, creating every single day, putting their content out there for the world to see. What do you think are, let's say, either that one thing or those three things for you that makes you stand out, like comparatively, like when you're navigating all that?
Well, one thing that everybody always say is my energy. People always say I have some good energy, I have some good aura. I don't know. I can kind of figure when I come around people, I do try to like get them out of them shells a little bit, whether that's with something that we're interested in, or it depends on the space that we're at. So I would say like my energy. Also, I don't know, because I be having this trouble too trying to figure it out. But the huge one is my energy, though. I want to say I'm an extrovert, so I kind of like talking to people. It depends though. It depends, because you put me in the wrong space with people I don't know. I'm kind of like closed off until somebody talks to me, then I open up. But yeah, I'm kind of like an extrovert. So I will try to like I just said previously, bring people out their shells so we can have a great time. I can have the gift of gab, but sometimes I feel like as all streamers, we're yappers. So we have that ability to just talk about anything days on end. So that's a good thing too. And I feel like wherever I go, I can just fit, whether it's a corporate area, whether it's, we're outside IRL, or whether we're going to a bar, etc. I feel like I do a really good job of just, fitting into the space that I'm in. And maybe that's because I'm Black and I got to do that, every day. But I feel like that's a good one too.
I guess to that point, as you enter into different spaces, do you feel like it requires a different type of strategy depending on like when you're meeting with an executive, or when you are doing your show, or when you're on the ground at a convention? Do you feel like you have to, like, I know there's the concept of code switching that honestly comes up, and like people will talk about that, but as a broadcaster and as a personality, do you feel like you have to switch on certain things when it comes to, like, depending on who you're meeting with? Or do you just, you know what, I exist, I'm
I'm just
this is me? Good.
I that's exactly how I am, because I got tired of trying to code switch and trying to be what people wanted me to be. I'm like, no, either you're gonna accept me for where I am, or you're just not gonna like me at all. And once I start doing that, I feel like my doors open a lot more, because they can feel authenticity, they can feel the real energy. They know that you're not trying to like play them or swindle them. Like, you're really just being yourself. And I feel like both parties will feel happier with that anyway, because they know what they're getting, and you feel better just by being you. And it's K dot the God, it's like that. I know some people was in the chat asking.
Yep. And so you actually talked about like energy and the energy we bring to broadcast. I actually put this out on Blue Sky last night. I was reading a book from Simon Sinek, who's a great speaker, but he said, energy motivates, but charisma inspires. Energy is easy to see, easy to measure, and easy to copy. And we see this. Like, sometimes we'll see a very like hyped up actor or person who's performing on Twitch. They got a lot of energy, obviously. That's easy to mimic. Charisma is hard to define, near impossible to measure, and too elusive to copy. When people talk about someone having that undeniable pull of attention, it is charisma. So when we think of like how we can apply our own charisma, it comes from what we love, what we can speak on nonstop. If a person engages me in a conversation about perfume, you can see my posters here on the back on my wall. If you want to talk to me about J-pop, K-pop, I will dive in with you. If you want to talk about Earthbound, my favorite game of all time, and there's my beautiful mint copy inbox. You want to talk about that? I'll talk with you on that for 5 hours. That's where charisma starts to come through. When people are diving at something because they're like, oh, I want to make money too, or like, you know, they dive at the Fortnite trend, or they dive at all these trends, and they're just coming with energy but no charisma because they don't actually care about it. It's when they don't succeed.
Yeah.
And so that's something to think about yourself for a broadcaster. Am I doing this just because that's what I think the trend needs to be? Well, people will see through it and they're not going to invest in you. But then when somebody sees you for what you stand for or what you're excited about, that's when the community starts to form.
100%. 100%.
So like for you, do you ever feel like, because obviously the anime community, it's incredibly, it's inclusive, it's huge internationally. Do you feel like you ever get like challenged by segments of the community of like, they want to pull the, oh, I know more than you on this, or
do I? Yes, I can tell you one instance. So I was making a crybaby tier list of anime characters, and I went to Twitter. I was like, hey guys, I want y'all help. I want y'all to get engaged with it. You know, drop some characters that's crybabies. But on the tweet, I put Tanjiro, and everybody like hated me for like at least a few weeks because they said, why could Tanjiro be a crybaby? He lost his family, and one night his sister's a demon. He's, you know, I'm like, it's anime, first of all. These are fictional characters. Don't take my head off. Like, everybody has it hard. Every shonen person has it hard some way. Whether you look at Naruto, Gon, Goku, Vegeta, anybody had it hard. So it's okay that you can cry. We are all men. Men are allowed to cry. Men are allowed to express themselves. It's fine. Like, it's okay. But I don't know why they hated me for so long for that. So that's one instance. And I forgot what the other one was, but yeah, they hated me for a little while just because of that.
To Junkyard Dave's point here in the chat, all tier lists have shown me who is willing to stab you after you make one. Basically, it does bring out the people who will say, no, you're wrong, but it drives conversation.
How could you?
Yeah, like for example, I'm going to do one in the chat right now that will polarize people. Cake or pie? This will polarize the chat on either side of it. And that's a great way to drive conversation. I know one of the first... And here's a tip for broadcasters: when you're doing your go live notifications, think about how you can get like that initial reaction from somebody that will engage in the conversation. So mine, for example, one of my most successful go live notifications was, I have never seen an episode of SpongeBob in my life. I bet it's not that great. And immediately people dove in my chat to say, how could you have missed out on this series? You are wrong. And then talking through for a good hour about like this show and why it was great. Yeah, exactly. Smirky's like, oh, come on.
Pie is the only answer. Ice cream cake. Ice cream cake is a cheat code. And that's a cheat code.
It's true.
Because I'm picking it over pie as well.
Speaking of cheat codes, do you think there is a cheat code to success in any way?
The only cheat code is who you know. That's the only thing I always hear as a cheat code. It's like, it's not about, you know, what you do, is about who you know. Because yes, if you know the right person, you can get into a certain position, but you still also have to be ready for it. You have to prepare for it. You have to like put yourself in that position to get that luck. You really have to work for it. So it's not that easy. But if you know the right person, yes, you can get into the right situation. But if you're not prepared, you didn't do the work, you didn't, you know, set yourself up for success, then it doesn't matter at all. Because you can get into that door and fail. You can get into that door and look stupid. You can get into that door and make a fool out of whoever else you just, you know, vouch for you. But you need to make sure you put in that work. So whether that's, you know, content creation, whether you researching new trends, you playing the new games, you know, changing your persona, you might be a VTuber or whatever, you know, but just research the top people doing it, research the trends of it, and, you know, put yourself in the right position to win. So when that right person makes that call for you, because sometimes there's some people that you don't even know watching your chat, watching your streams, that's saying, hey, this person is amazing. Let's, you know, put him on here. just keep doing the work, and you never know what's gonna happen for you.
And then I see a good thing here. Scrachnophobia actually said, "I don't like using cheats. I love showing great respect to others and spreading positivity." At 100%, and that could be
Yeah,
your way of
but that
opening
can
the
be your
doors
cheat.
for individuals.
Yeah, that can be your cheat code. That's just
That
you being you.
that's you being you. I mean, look at a great example of that is Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers. That's how they approached. They showed respect to individuals.
Mm-hmm.
They embodied that, like, the concept of the most important education is that which we provide to our children, and it opened
Yeah.
so many doors for Fred Rogers. And so when you think for yourself, is like, what is that one thing you truly want to do
Mm-hmm.
potentially for the world? I know when people talk
Seriously.
about, like, what's that why? My why is I want the world to suck less. So everything
I
I
remember
work
you
on
saying
is just making it suck less for people. For
that.
you, what is that? And that will start to open doors. Now, when those doors opens, to your point, like, sometimes you will meet with an executive, or you'll, potentially network with a brand or a game that you want to work with, and you
Mm-hmm.
may not mesh minds all that
At
well. You may
all.
actually see, oh, actually, I don't, align with this. And you might need to say, okay, well, you know what? I tried. At least I put myself
Mm-hmm.
in there and had that convo, but it didn't work out. And that's okay. And that's
Yeah.
absolutely okay.
At least you tried. You got
Yeah,
experience. Now you know for the next
yeah,
time.
and you will find through those conversations and putting yourself out there, that you will find brands you align with and that align with you, and those become long-lasting relationships. I
Mm-hmm.
think in my relationship with Sanrio is a great one that honestly, like, they're great people. I consider them my family at this point because of how we've been able to work together, because we align for the same vision of small gift, big smile. Do something good for
Mm-hmm.
somebody, help make their year. And so,
Yeah.
you know, when it comes to, I guess, like, setting yourself up for success, getting into those spaces, are there any
Mm-hmm.
things that you practiced for yourself to make sure that when, you have that prime opportunity or that pitch moment, are there things that you do to set yourself up for success in there?
So if I'm going to talk to a company, I always research the certain people like
Mm,
community managers, partnership managers that I need to work with or I'm going to work with. And I use those words like intently to like speak some life into it. So it will actually happen instead of like I might or maybe or I hope. I kind of like speak with intent. But I do research. I looked up on LinkedIn. I will search you up on Twitter. I would Google your name and see if I can find you. I would do what I have to do to find the person I need to talk to and do my research. I also look up the company's like mission statements. I will look up what they're about. I will look up their new product, their oldest product. Like if I use Corsair as an example, I went on Corsair's page and I probably went all the way down their blogs and everything, just probably about to 2022, 2021. And I was reading as much as I could. So, if I got into these conversations, I could be like, hey, y'all remember when y'all did this, et cetera, et cetera. Now I could probably not even, knew about the product then, but I know about it now and I'm knowledgeable about it. And they might have forgot. Like, oh yeah, I do remember that. I worked on that, maybe. And then we can keep talking about it. So I kind of try to do a lot of research depending on who it is or what it is, just to prepare myself. I also take notes. And some days I might go into the mirror and I might, speak about speak and practice what I'm trying to say. Because sometimes I can, speak fast. I can get anxious. We all get nervous sometimes, especially when something we really care about. But I try to practice speaking about it. And, like I said, speaking intently. Sometimes I don't know if y'all even like y'all religious or not. I pray about it as well. Try to do everything I can to prepare myself for that situation. So when I get there, I feel the most comfortable. I feel the most, perfect as much as I can be, and to deliver that pitch or to deliver that conversation, whatever it is.
I love that. Like, as I'm choking up over here because I literally choked up on my water just a moment ago. But when you're thinking about the practice work that you can do, whether it's through
Mm-hmm.
prayer, meditation, in front of a mirror,
Mm-hmm.
all of those things are going to be hugely beneficial to ensuring that first conversation. Oh my God, I literally choked so
Yeah.
hard on that water.
I'm
My
about
God,
to
I'm
say
dying
you
over
need
here.
to take a break. Oh my God, because I
No, it's
feel it.
fine. You power through because it's live. No,
Oh my
you think about,
gosh.
like, audience, what can you do to make sure you're set up for success in that first conversation? Really?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so you were saying, like, when we're thinking about going into the room or like setting those pitches, or engaging the brand, you do some research. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
God, I'm dying over here, man. I need some water. Hold,
we
please.
need. I'm about to
Where's my
say we
hold,
gotta
please
save
emote,
Jay.
chat?
We gotta save Jay.
Save Jay, the first time I've ever choked on a broadcast. All right, here we go. We're good now. So, as you're doing that preparatory work and the research, you're going to the company's
Mhm.
websites, you're going to the maybe even like peers who have worked with them in the past,
Mhm.
or like people like trying to understand what are they looking for, because
Yeah.
sometimes when you meet with them, you obviously want to come with what you can do or how they can incorporate into your show, but you want to do the
Yeah.
research of how they showed up historically and how can it be better
Mhm.
ultimately.
Mhm.
So, are there like other broadcasters you watch when thinking about that type of thing?
So the few broadcaster I watch is, well, the main one that I watch is the Black Hokage. I think when it comes to content and when it comes to longevity, that's the type of person that I can envision myself not only being but surpassing. And he's been doing it for so long that I think he's low key the blueprint. Like whether you're looking for news, gameplay, witty comments, engaging, things to do, whether it's events or giveaway, etc. I feel like YouTube videos, all of it. I feel like he's one of the ones that's been doing it for so long and has been doing it the right way. Whether, he quote unquote fell off or quote unquote didn't do as much as everybody else think he was doing. I feel like he's the main one. But that's on Twitch. I will also say Mark from RDC, but I don't like watch their videos. I more so pay attention to when he's speaking like interviews or when he's talking about like how it all started. I can't remember Mark saying he put himself in a situation where they moved into like a very expensive house and they had to make things work to make ends meet. They really put themselves in a hard position, back against the wall to make things happen, make things work. And I can kind of like relate to that because I do tend to put a lot more on my plate than I can handle, only so I can, gain experience for the next time. Like my plate is a little bit bigger, everything else feels smaller. I'm trying to think who else. Those are the top two that comes to mind when a lot of these times I be asked that. And that's because the first few times when I started streaming, those are people I was watching.
It's so interesting. Like you mentioned the concept of like sometimes we'll hear that people have fell off, right? Their
Mm-hmm.
viewership, or like people will say, "Oh, they fell off," or da 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 da. And I try to defeat that concept because I can't think of a single entertainer in history who has always been at the top. They will always go through a roller coaster of
That's
a
a good
career.
way
They'll
to
have a
think
great
about it.
album. They'll have like a rough album. They'll put out a great movie.
Okay.
There'll be a movie that isn't so great. And everybody is like, we're always compared to the last work that we had done or the last
Yep.
piece that we had put out. And
Mm-hmm.
granted, like my fame cycle, I was famous on the internet 2009 to 2013, and that was in the YouTube circuit. And that was probably like the highest viewership and everything that I had, right? But like when I look
Uh-huh.
on it now, my viewership, although it may be smaller in metric, I honestly have much stronger relationships now with my viewership
Yeah.
than I did back
Yep.
then.
Yep.
And so it's not always about the algorithm or the number. In fact, I don't think it's at
Nope.
all about that when it comes to actually
Mm-mm.
building a career. I see great broadcasters who have fantastic sponsorships and relationships, or even like successful shows or really incredible shows that don't command the algorithmically perceived success that others
Mm-hmm.
might. So for yourself, like, how much do you pay attention to like the back end numbers, or do you let that dictate what you do
Some
on your
days
shows?
I let it beat me up. Yeah, some days I let it beat me up
Mm,
because I'm gonna be honest with you, my viewership has dropped since I think the beginning of the year. Like it's been declining. But then I
mm,
sit here and think about when I think about that and I either tweet about it or I talk to somebody about it, they remind me of all the cool things that I've done this year, which sometimes I take for granted. Cause
mm,
once you a content creator, you do this for a living, it's always like, all right, I got it. It's the next thing now because you want to make sure that you don't, lose that step. You don't want to lose that partnership. You don't want to lose that connection with that company, person,
mhm.
whatever. It's a constant, ongoing thing. So sometimes you could like, let me see. I'm trying to think what I did. I done hosted a few shows at TwitchCon this year. That's in the back of my mind because I'm so focused on the future. I'm so focused on what I need to, make things happen. But some days you need to sit back and smell the roses. As cliche as that is,
Mm,
sit back and think about everything that you've done across the year, whether that's writing it out, whether that's rewatching clips, whether that's having that conversation with that friend or that person that reminds you. You need to make sure that, some days go back and like, oh, I am him, them, her, they. I'm everybody. I am that person that I think I am. I am that amazing person that I feel like I was meant to be. I am doing the right thing that I'm doing. Some days you need to make sure that you do that, because if you don't, who will? Let's be honest.
That
Who will?
that there's a great ambassador, T-Rex. They said to me years ago when I was working with them on their content that we have to treat, or at least look at, our careers in the same way that, like, we're taking flights around the world. Like, I just got back from seeing my family for the holiday. And when you think about your journey as a creator, yeah, sometimes you're flying your plane and you're broadcasting and you're creating and doing all this, but sometimes you got to land to refuel. The plane's not going to stand up there in the air and just keep going. Like, if you keep pushing, you're going to run out of fuel and you could potentially crash. That's like the burnout that I hear about from a lot of our broadcasters. So sometimes you have to stop, refuel. You know what? You should check to see the photos you took on that journey. Wow, I did that thing, or I did that incredible show, and I really love doing that. An exercise I honestly recommend all of you do is, next to your streaming setup, whether it's at a console or, if you're out doing IRL, if you got the PC set up like we got going on both of our sides, have a little notepad, and after every show, write down your 3 favorite things that happened during that show. And you'll start to see that starts to change your mindset about all the shows you do. And it starts to progress it in a forward fashion. Not the stuff that went wrong. Things will always go wrong in live. And
Yeah.
granted, we'll probably have more failures than successes. Heck, look at an actor's career. They get way more no's than they get yeses before they book the role. So like, having a little notepad next to you is a great way to do it. And when it comes to criticism from the internet, I've referenced on previous shows, there's a great speaker and writer, Brene Brown. And what she does is she keeps a list of 5 names in her wallet, and those are the people that she'll take criticism from. She's not going to take criticism from anybody else, because, like, if my brother told me something, I'm going to listen to my brother. If Zach, who I created with years in the YouTube circuit, told me something, I'm going to listen to him. Or Alexis going to tell me something, I'm going to listen. But if some random person on the internet says something to me, I don't really care.
Can't really hold weight.
It doesn't hold weight. So you have to really think about, like, how much criticism I'm going to let in, because as creators, we can always be our worst critic, and we'll always be harder on ourselves. And sometimes that negativity weighs us down to a point that we feel like, maybe I am not good enough. Maybe I am not this. But it really comes down to the effort that you're putting forward at the end of each day. And so, and actually, Striker shouted out here, I know a streamer that does that live at the end of each stream with the viewers. That's a great way to do it, is actually have a conversation beat at the end of every show, where you're just like, hey, like, what did you like? I liked this moment. I like that.
That's a good idea.
I really dig it. But we do, like, to stream the RB's point, good. You're right. We focus on negative streams 10 times more than we do the positive.
That's just life in general. A lot of people focus on negativity just because it's so, like, blatant. It's always there. Just even if you got that little win, that negativity just overshadows it. But sometimes just pick up that one thing that just reminds you, like, I still got it. I am doing the right thing. I am doing what I'm supposed to do.
That. And it doesn't matter the scale of what you're doing. Like, don't measure your success solely on the numbers, to the point that I made earlier. Like, not everybody's always going to have the massive viewership, right? And if you think about it, there's only so many people to tune in, and there's only so many hours. You got to be respectful of those audiences out there. So you have to think about for yourself, what was the great thing that happened today? Am I going to reference, like, coming out of the show of, like, oh, I hated that moment I choked on my water in front of 10,000 people? Sure, that was a funny, like, quip moment. Like, I can push that to the back of my brain, because, like, the best part about the show is honestly sitting here chatting with K-Dot, and with all of you hearing facts based on experience. Like, that's the thing that I take away. That's incredible. And so, actually, to Stream's DRB's point, pushing for partnership, and they feel like a one low number stream makes you feel like you failed, and getting out of that mindset isn't easy. Have you done anything, K-Dot, like, when it comes to, like, oh, you're going for that thing, or you want to hit a certain threshold, and then you have that rough show? How do you process that for yourself?
So I'm gonna use an example where I got told no. Aver Media told me no before I was, like, big, or before I was doing what I'm doing now. But I knew I had the capabilities, taking videos, recording videos, making content, making great things for these companies. So I knew I could do it. But it was like, you're not big enough. You're not what we're looking for, et cetera, et cetera. So I took my talents to Elgato. Elgato, took a chance on me. He was like, oh, you can make some great content. You can do some good things. And fast forward 2 years later, I'm working with their competitors. So I'm doing better than I would have done with them anyway. So I get petty with it. If somebody tells me no, I go to your competitor and do it 2 times, 3 times better than I was gonna do for you anyway. Or I would just make you feel me like, oh, I should have signed him, or I should have worked with him, or I should have gave him a chance. I make them feel it. But some days, yeah, I on the motivational tip, yeah, I sit down and be sad and upset, sit in my room some days. I might read some manga. I might, watch some anime. I might just game all day in the dark, and just so I can get away from what made me feel bad. And the next day, I'm like, I got it, because I take a few time, I take a few hours, I take a day, or take whatever I need to let the negativity subside. And then next day, it's like restart, reset. Some days I even take a nap. If I feel bad enough, I take a nap just so I can like get it out the way. And I wake up, I feel like it's a new day. So it just depends on what I'm trying to do.
I dig that. I those are great recommendations, honestly, for just like resetting self coming out of a show. Dwelling on it won't help you progress. Obviously, processing emotions is key. Like if you feel like something went bad, feel it out. Okay. But then honestly, you're like, remember what's in your control as broadcasters, internet. You have no control over how many people are going to show up to your show. Like when I go live later today, I have no control over whose schedules are going to be able to line up with mine for my show. I don't. Like even for today's show, for like right now it's happening, I have no control over your schedules. If you got to dip out, if you got to go get lunch, you got to do something, I have no control. What I do have control over is the conversation that I'm doing. And it's the same thing for all the shows that you put out there. Are you putting out a great show that you are proud of? Or are you growing a skill set while you're broadcasting that you can carry forward to something else? And I see that like great things happen. Like I see some folks who do like the study streams and stuff like that. They're working on their professional development or studying or doing their college work or doing their actual like day job work while they're sharing the experience. And so think for yourself, what is that thing I want to get out of today's show? And sometimes it is like, if you're playing Elden Ring, it's just to beat a boss. I just want to beat this boss today. And if you beat that, great, you hit your goal. But have a goal going into your show, and not just broadcasting for broadcasting's sake will help you with navigating any potential negatives that you could perceive coming out of it.
So Jay's cooking. Jay's cooking.
You're way too kind. And it's I see also Stream DRB mentioned they have a friend or moderator goes over the stream, looks at what's good, what was bad. This is once again build a trusted circle of any folks around you that you trust their input to also give you that feedback. It's always truly helpful as you go through. And actually, there's another comment here. Yeah, like one person doesn't want to do anything today because they have a cold. Yes. Also, sometimes it's better to let yourself rest, heal up, and then come back and do a better show than to give a half-baked, like, I don't think anybody wanted to tune into, Kawaii Guy's sneeze stream if I got like a sinus infection or something and I'm just sneezing and blowing my nose the entire time. I don't think that'd be good content. Got to take the breaks. How do you think about, like, obviously, like when you're traveling for work or like when you're even like heading out for conventions, you were just on the ground at like TwitchCon, you were just over at HQ. Like, how do you prepare your audience for when you're going to be traveling?
So I try to give them as many streams as possible. So if I got to stream 3-4 days in a row, just so I can feel good and let them feel good about me being gone for the next 3 to 4 days, that's what I would do. I went so far into even building my own IRL backpack, just so, the days I am gone, the days I do have some downtime, I can stream the areas that I am, because they always want to, know about what I'm doing or want to see what I'm doing. And sometimes I can't, I don't remember it, or I can't talk about it in the way that I experienced it. So being able to just stream it and show them firsthand, I feel like, breaks the medium or, gaps it a little bit. So I feel a little bit better. But yeah, I spend a lot of time building an IRL backpack just so they could come along with me. And that's the ways I do it.
I love that. So it's taking the travel and turning it into an additional format for them, and like figuring out like, okay, how can I give them a little bit of something, or like show them into the life that I'm living. beyond the setup that they're used to, which are our room setups.
Uh-huh.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that. I like that. As we look forward, like obviously we're coming towards the end of the year where there's a lot of great programs that are running, like Together for Good is happening here on Twitch. A lot
Uh-huh.
of charity causes are starting to ramp up here. A lot of like end of year shows people are preparing for. Are there any like programs or things that you're really excited about, like coming up here in the next month, or even as we're getting ready into 2025 that you're looking forward towards?
The main thing is the week of giving. My fellow colleagues, Ash, Meadow, and Thor have been putting a lot of work in for like a week of events, virtual and IRL, that I think is so amazing that I'm in awe. Like I'm in awe. So that's the one thing I'm really excited about, because being able to just hear the idea, see the work behind it, and then see it, conceptualize and actually come to life. I think that's probably the reason why I'm the most hyped for it. And, let alone the people that we're doing it for and charities that we're doing it for. I just think them putting in the work and being able to see their ideas and dreams come to fruition, I think that's probably one of the most things I'm excited about, and especially the people that they're doing it for.
I love that.
See, Ash, you know you was in here. What's up,
yeah,
Ash?
we got Ash in chat. How you doing, Ash? We have to like not only like enjoy and celebrate our wins, but like the wins of our peers. Because when like
100%.
any person is a broadcaster, like sometimes I hear people debate like affiliate versus partner. It's like, nah, you both are streamers. If a person isn't monetized on the service and streaming, you're still a streamer. We're all equals.
Yeah.
We're all creating on the service, right? And so celebrating each other and like shouting at each other, giving our peers flowers, that's something that it's something we should honestly all be doing more of. Amp each other up, because when one person succeeds, that means your likelihood of succeeding as well is going to go up.
Yeah.
And it's going to help the greater industry understand what we do.
Putting people on.
Yeah.
Put people on.
That. Send the elevator back down if you can, as you find success, all that.
What I do?
There we go.
I keep asking.
Yeah, everybody's shouting. Everybody's shouting. Hey. But it's true. Helping each other grow together, because that's the key. It's like no algorithm is going to favor us. No individual business is going to favor us. It's all about how can we work together and amp each other up.
Yeah.
As we go forward.
Everybody can have a seat at my table. As long as you're putting in the work, as long as you're taking care of the things you need to take care of, we can have a seat and we can eat together. I know a lot of people feel some type of way, whether it's the same people in the same lane or in the same career. Y'all got there. Y'all good. Y'all just got to work together to stay there, to stay at the top. Like, I don't have to compete. I don't know what or why people feel like they need to compete with other people. You don't have to. We can literally all eat together. If anything, we got to compete with the people at the top to give us more opportunities. Like, we don't have to take it from away from each other at all. Like, push people to be better and do better. That's it.
That and opening up, like if you know that you got extra space next to you when you're going into those meetings or going into those rooms, bring those folks in with you.
Yeah. And you will feel 1,000 times better too, because I bet you won't feel as anxious or nervous because you got somebody that you know right there with you that can vouch for you, that knew the work that you put in, and vice versa. Yep. Tackle that together. Together.
And it's an important point, and Stryker leans in with it. Be careful the type of energy you surround yourself with. If you surround yourself with negativity, if you surround yourself with people who are always naysaying, bringing down stuff like that, if you seek out hate and negativity, it's going to beget more of that. So like you have to really surround yourself with the people and the energy that you want to align with, and your community is going to do the same. And that's where we start to see spaces form. And the same thing applies to social media. If you don't like the vibe of a particular social media, it's not worth your time.
Nope.
Leave. I did that recently with a particular one. It was no longer a space I felt was anyway beneficial to me, and so I left it. And so do that for yourself as well, and think of it for as you create the spaces and as you're attracting in these viewers, make sure the viewers know exactly what you stand for, what you're into. I heard one young broadcaster say, well, a viewer is a viewer and it helps the view count and helps the thing go up, even though they were being abusive in the chat towards them. I was just like,
oh yeah, no,
it's not an energy you want to maintain.
No, at all.
Yeah,
you got to get out my chat.
that create the spaces of which you want to form.
I'd rather be alone if somebody doing that. I'll watch myself. I got a phone. I got a PC. I'll tab myself.
And that's what I really like, and especially with the community that you're helping curate, especially with the Twitch Black Guild and cross-functionally with our fellow guilds. That's one of the main missions, is bringing like experience creators together to know that we can support one another, lift up one another, converse with one another, whether the good, the bad comes through. It's all like just knowing that we're here together is a big thing that we're trying to champion. As you look into your upcoming broadcast, is there any games or things that you're excited about taking on here pretty soon, especially with the holiday approaching?
Well, Marvel Rivals for sure. That's one. I feel like that's a huge one. I'm not a big, Overwatch player or, hero shooter at all, but I love playing games that people are already playing that brings people together. And if it's Marvel Rivals, whether it's, Fortnite, whatever game it is, if it brings people together and my chat is playing it, I'm gonna play it because I want to play with them and I want to, keep fostering those relationships. But anything else, I'm not even too sure. I've been trying to focus on my subathon that I'm doing. I've been focusing on CES. I've been focusing on so many other things that I haven't been gaming. The last few games that I have been playing is Dragon Age, and I've been enjoying that a lot. I don't know why so many people was trashing that game. It's a very good game for sure.
It's a solid game. I mean, Zach's been
like
absorbed in it from what I understand.
Yeah, it's a good game for sure. But yeah, just Marvel Rivals right now, and then prepping for my subathon. That's it.
Yeah. So we got a big subathon coming up, obviously. Like, continue, like, all y'all should be following. The name is hyperlinked there in the title. You can actually just click on that and you can follow directly K Dot. They got a lot of great stuff coming up. Make sure you toss that follow, click that heart button. And as I say on my show, don't leave me heartbroken by leaving it unclicked. What I would love to do is, though, as we're closing out today's show in this great convo, and I hope y'all have enjoyed some of the true gems that K-Dot is serving out today. I want us to raid somebody from the Twitch channel, but I want you to choose them, K-Dot. So I'm just hopping into the dashboard on my side so I can activate it. But who do you think we should send the love on to coming out of this show?
Let me see. Let me scroll down my list. Let me scroll down the list. You gotta pick some people that's in the Black Guild. Let me see. It's early. That's what it is. It's 4 o'clock. Well,
I know the people. They haven't started yet.
Wait. Where'd it go? You know what? Let's raid. Is it Nor? I think it's Nor DL.
All right, can you spell that for me real quick?
I'm a I-N-O. Oh, got you.
There we go. Oh, and you appreciate the mug? Yeah, I also have it tattooed on my hand. So this is the main emote. So this is the kawaii heart. For those of you, if you would choose to follow over on, thank you for our producer switching to the large cam for this. So this is the kawaii heart mode for members of my community. This is our way of just saying, show up with love and love will come right back to you. But that's been my emote for the past 20 years. See, we got one of them right there, articulate. So good to see you in the chat. All right, let me pull this. All right, let's see. iNoirC. Awesome. All right, we're going to send the love over to them in here in just a second. Once again, I want to say a huge thank you to everybody who is in our broadcast today, who spent time with us. I wish all of you a wonderful holiday season if you celebrate the holidays. If not, a great gaming season. There's so many games, so many sales on Steam and all that are happening right now. So
I better take advantage.
Take advantage of those. I hope everybody has an amazing December, and you'll see us next time on Let's Chat in 20 and 25. But a huge shout out to K Dot. Thank you so much. Have a great today, even better tomorrow. We're gonna send the love on to iNoirC. Take care, y'all.